Welcome to Windows. I'm your host, Joe Chapman. Today we're going to be talking about Jack Campbell, the Detroit Lions. There's an article that came out that, Calvin Shepard spoke and he said that, if Jack Campbell doesn't, get up to speed, that he'll be in the second string. And I know a lot of people are a little bit spooked about that, but let me just say this. This is probably a better thing to happen for the Detroit Lions. Because if you look at the Detroit Lions throughout their history, we have allowed first round picks to start maybe before they were ready. I mean, when you look at the reality of the situation is there's a lot of first round picks that are first round picks because there's not a lot of equal talent. And sometimes the learning style has to, it's not a straight line. Sometimes it goes side to side. And when you look at the Jack Campbell, the Lions are lucky because, it seems to me that Derek Barnes is taking the next step. It seems to me that Alex Anzalone is an obvious leader in that locker room. It seems to me that Malcolm Rodriguez was great against the run, and I think he can have a better second year. It seems to me that their linebacking core has got better, so there's more competition. That's ultimately what you want. Like, if you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, if you look at all the organizations that have a lot of teams that they go to the playoffs every year, they're consistently winning, they're doing a great job of developing their talent. Sometimes those players don't start until week 4, week 5, week 6, week 7 because they have the talent to just get by from in the meantime. And maybe over the course of the season, that guy takes that step and maybe he becomes something. And it's just good to have that type of compete in that locker room. Obviously, when you watch Hard Knocks last year, and you watch that Malcolm Rodriguez was out doing everyone in the linebacker room as a rookie, that's not good. That's not good, and it showed on the field. I mean, we ultimately, the Detroit Lions defense got better, but ultimately, the linebacking core was a weakness. And I think that if you look at the linebacking core and you look at the way that Calvin Shepard is saying, he's saying, look, we're not going to hand the guy what he's deserved just because he's a first round pick. He's going to have to earn it. And ultimately, you as a Lions fan should be happy that a coach is actually having the wherewithal to say, look, I don't care he's a first round pick. I don't care he's a first round pick. We're going to put the best players on the field that know what they're doing. A lot of times, it doesn't matter what sport you're in, what workplace environment you're in. Sometimes you just don't know what you're doing just yet. Ultimately, you get it going, and you start learning the tricks of the trade, but you weren't ready to start. And that could be the same for Jack Campbell. And if Jack Campbell doesn't start, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with him or it was a waste of a pick. Ultimately, you're hoping that your first round picks are just guys that can help you along. Obviously, you want that guy. You want your first round pick to be a starter. But if you're getting help from your second round picks, your third round picks, your first round picks, your fourth round picks, your fifth round picks, your sixth round picks, ultimately you're just doing a good job drafting. Because you don't have to rely on one guy coming in as a rookie to help you out, and then you realize like week 3 he isn't even ready to play. Like, I think that is what the Detroit Lions have done wrong in the past, and I feel like they're redoing it. With the Dan Campbell, with Brad Holmes, and Calvin Shepard. You can say what you want, but he knows what he wants in his linebacker room, and you got to trust his gut. Obviously, there's a lot of time to go. We're going to have some, Detroit Lions News podcast down the stretch, and it's going to be fun to talk with Tyler about, the positional groups and all that stuff. But I don't take nothing out of it that Jack Campbell, he's a little bit behind. I expect a rookie to be behind. It doesn't really bother me. I think that when you look at this team, it's gotten better. And when you get better, there's a battle of positions, and you have to earn it. You have to earn it. All those years that Detroit Red Wings were a good team, all those years, you had to earn to get to the top 2 lines. You had to earn that right. And I think that's it. I think it's becoming the same thing with the Detroit Lions. You have to earn your spot. Period. End of story. So when people say that Jack Campbell not starting is a waste of a pick, it just shows that like there's a lot of Lions fans that think that you should ultimately give a first round pick the starting job because he's a first round pick. I mean, you go around the league with these competent organizations, it doesn't work like that. And obviously, the Detroit Lions are not incompetent like they were in the past. You go look at Pittsburgh, you go look at Baltimore. They don't hand out these spots. They just don't. That's the Raiders. That's the Texans. But Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes and that coaching staff, they have it right. You earn your spot. You have to be good at what you're doing. And we're not just going to put you in because there is talent on this team where we're not relying on a first round pick to become, great in the first game. It's ultimately a marathon. Like when you draft a player, it's not just about year one, it's about year two, year three, year four, and then when you have a fifth year option with a first round pick, it's about year five. I think a lot of people just totally dismiss that, and I think it's not smart. But what do you think? Would Jack Campbell not starting with the Detroit Lions be kind of, how do you say this? Would it be a question mark for this Detroit Lions team? Let me know in the comments below, and I will answer them.